Now I'm going to tell you about Tim Berger, who is known for his comprehensive research on mozzarella cheese qualities. Also, he blew up the entire building and set on fire his classmate. He was asked to deliver the graduation speech, and he was surprised because he considers himself to be not a straight A student. But recently he was offered to do an internship this summer in one of the largest chemical companies in the world. And in the fall, he's going to start his PhD course. As I've said, he was very, very surprised, and he missed his classes a lot, especially during his freshman year, because he had to face the overwhelming workload, and he couldn't get used to the university life, and there were a lot of parties, and that's why he fell behind, and he struggled to keep up with the course, and he managed to do this. He slacked off in some of his courses, he admits that, but everything eventually he did well. Last year he was on the edge of being expelled because he did a tiny mistake in his calculations, and the explosion made a big hole in the wall, and also it made lose him his eyebrows. He was severely criticized in one of the local papers about the incident for putting the other students' lives in danger. He even had to take additional course on safety in laboratory environment. And for some time he lost his interest for experiments, whatsoever experiments, but not for too long. Taking exams and tests wasn't a very enjoyable part of learning process for him, because while his classmates buried themselves in books preparing for exams, he did part-time work as a lab technician, and also he signed up for a theater course, and he spent endless hours on rehearsals. And once one of these rehearsals lasted for too long, and the next day, when he woke up the next day, he had an exam, and everything mixed up in his head. And in response to the professor's question about oxygen, he started reciting one of Shakespeare's sonnets. Luckily, that professor was a huge fan of theater, and they ended up discussing theater. But when he was a teenager, life was different for him, because he attended several elementary, middle, and high schools, because his family moved a lot from state to state, and he never felt at home anywhere. Besides, he was good at math and physics, and he wore glasses, and he got above average grades, so he considered being a nerd. He didn't go to his prom because he didn't have a date, and he was bullied a lot because he was short and wore glasses and so on. So he couldn't wait to start a new life in the university, and he was excited when he was enrolled in a university First, he was enrolled in a physics department, but then he understood that his real passion was chemistry, so he dropped out of physics department and dropped in on chemistry department, and that was the greatest decision in his life. But his parents weren't able to pay the whole so his parents couldn't pay all the money for his studies, and he applied for a scholarship, and he got his scholarship. That helped him a lot. So now he has defended his thesis and got his master's degree, and he's very happy to be among these graduates.